Hello and welcome to this very special podcast where we are actually going to find out how location intelligence impacts the insurance industry. And with me are two experts on this field from one end of the world to the other, but under the same commonwealth. From Toronto, Canada is Irvin Harold, who's a senior account exec with the insurance vertical at DMTI Spatial. Irv, thanks for coming on and doing this.
Thank you, Rob.
And from London, Steve Hurcom, who's the VP Global Sales and Marketing for Mapflow. Steve, thank you for coming on and doing this with us.
My pleasure, Rob.
I'm going to throw it to Irv first here to ask this very simple question. What is location intelligence? Maybe give us a little bit of overview of what DMTI is as well.
Sure, thanks. DMTI has been in the business for roughly 15 years, 15 plus years at this point in time, in providing data and intelligence to businesses across Canada. And intelligence that we've been able to provide to the clients across Canada is really the ability to take data and the necessary data to make intelligent business decisions based on location, based on property location, based on business location, or particular market locations, in a nutshell.
Very, very simple, and this has obviously a massive impact on insurance and claims and even people making a decision about where to set up their business, which will have an impact on all of those, don't they?
Very much so, and it's all about, and that's why we'll be talking with Steve, is it's all about risk and the ability to assess that risk around individual properties or groups of properties.
Well, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mapflow then, and we'll get right into this.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Mapflow are the leading provider, certainly in the UK and Irish markets, of what we call location intelligent risk management solutions. And that's really about applying the concepts Irv spoke about a few seconds ago into the insurance market, in particular into the realms of underwriting, and even more specifically to the point of quotation. So really using that information at the coalface where underwriters are looking to increase their profitability, increase their top and bottom lines.
Well, first question I thought Steve and I could discuss here is what are some of the key issues that you've discovered in working with the different insurers, both in the UK and working in North America here? What are the, I guess, the underlying or fundamental issues that they're all concerned about in common?
Well, that's a great question, and I think there are three, and they're common actually across geography, as we found out. The first one is really data quality. We find that a lot of insurers have information, particularly address information, which is poorly formatted, incorrect, poorly captured. That makes it impossible for them to actually locate those risk addresses to any degree of accuracy. And that's a fundamental building block for their business. If they can't physically locate where they've written business or where they are being asked to write business, they're missing a major building block in terms of developing value-added services and all those sorts of things which roll off that. It's a real key cornerstone, a real fundamental to the business. And we see that across geography, across business line within insurers as well. We see that's very poorly managed at this stage. The second point I'd like to make is that even for those insurers, organisations who've done a better job at cleaning their data, putting processes in place to capture that data, refine it, make it more accurate, we find that it's very often locked away in the back office. That information is used on a quarterly basis to look at things like reinsurance, treaties. It's very rarely given to the underwriters at the point of quotation, the point of inception of policy. So all that work is done by organisations such as DMTI, for example, in Canada, in cleaning address data, and it sits away, used by one or two people. It's really not available across the enterprise, and especially at the point of underwriting and quotation. The third point I'd like to make is just a general point about the lack of adoption of what we call location intelligence across the insurance market. If you look at that adoption compared to other industries, like telco, for example, retail, they've adopted location intelligence across their business, across their enterprise. We see in insurance, in the UK and there's Canada as well, it's a fairly low level of adoption at this stage, and we think that's a great opportunity for both DMTI and Mapflow to work with our insurance customers, our insurance partners, to really show them the value that can be obtained through the addition of location intelligence across their enterprise.
Thanks, Steve. Now, further to that last point around the lack of adoption, what's the impact of that today that you see or have seen with insurers that haven't adopted location intelligence or any form of decisioning based on location?
Okay, I guess I'd split these into two broad issues, the first being commercial and the second regulatory. From a commercial perspective, again, splitting it into top and bottom line. Top line, what we see is the lack of adoption of, and I think you alluded to this earlier, of property level, what we call geocoding. So the ability to relate the exact location of a property, the lat long, to accurate risk